Welcome back to another Flutter tutorial. In this episode, let's make the register card more dynamic. So for that, let's allow the user to register a new payment card or also to edit an existing card. So for that, let's go inside of this register payment card page. Here we need to define a new variable right here. So make it final, call this payment card type, and then just call this payment card. So right here, we'll use dependency injection. So when a user swipe right here to edit, we are able to go to this page and get the information inside of this form right here. So for that, we need to make this variable right here nullable. And here, add a comma and just do this dot payment card. The reason to make this nullable is when we are creating a new page, we don't get an exception right here. So next, we need to now define a new variable of type payment card inside of this state class. So you can come right here, just paste it, change it right here instead of having final. This will have to be late. So we'll initialize this variable inside of this init state. So make this one a private by adding the underscore. So here we need to define a new method. So come here. This will be void private load edit card. So come right here, copy, and after this nodes right here, just paste your method inside of it. So inside of this method, we'll do a if condition. So right here, we need to check if this variable right here is not null. Then we need to assign to this variable. Otherwise, we need to initialize this payment card, or otherwise this will be null. So you can do right here, widget. So use this keyword widget dot the payment card. Right here, let's check if this is not null. Then we want to call our local variable. This will be equal to this widget dot the payment card. So else we need to initialize our local variable right here. So before we do that, let's go inside of this payment card page. We want to use these properties right here and make them optional. So first, let's remove this keyword right here and then assign a default value for them. So for is deleted, the value will be false. For is default, the value also will be false. And then for this application user ID, initially the value will be an empty string because we don't have the user information right now. So just save everything. So now come here and just call this payment card. So here for the payment card ID, default value will be 0. Then for the card number, this will be an empty string. Name on card, it will also be an empty string. Security code will also be an empty string. Expiration date will also be an empty string right here. For the payment type, we need to call the payment type unknown and give it a default value, which is Visa. So now save. So right here we are now able to get the information that the user provides using dependency injection or initialize this variable right here. Then the next step is to get this variable and then for each property assign to their respective fields right here. So for that, let's come here. Let's start by applying right here the card name. So right here in the card name, we have this initial value property right here. So you can paste right here payment card, then do a question mark because this can be null, dot, and then call the name on card. So right here, if it is not null, we'll get the value. Otherwise, we'll initialize this field as an empty field. So then just copy right here. And let's do the same thing for the remaining fields. So just paste it right here, change the name right here to be card number. Then let's do the same thing for CCV code and expiration date. We also need to do the same thing for the drop down menu. So come right here. For the drop down menu, we don't have the initial value. Instead, we have this property right here, which is the value. So right here, let's call this local variable payment card dot, let's call the payment type, and then do question mark right here. And now if this is null, let's assign the default payment type, which is the Visa. So now we need to connect these two pages right here. So for that, let's go inside of this payment card list widget. So we can select and cut this code right here, and then let's add it inside of these two methods right here. So paste it here, and then let's do inside of this one, paste it. But now we also, instead of just calling this class, we also need to provide an argument. So just call the payment card and assign it to this selected card right here. So save, reload it. So now when you swipe to dismiss, we'll go to this page right here, and you can see we are able to get all the information from that card. So now let's do something about the label right here. When the user is in edit mode, I don't want this label to be register card. So let's change to be edit card, and this will be, instead of register, will be updated. So now let's go back. So here, after this payment card, then we need to create a new variable of type boolean, and this make it private and call this is editing. And initial value will be false. So now let's go inside of our load edit card. So right here, if the user is in edit mode, then the value will be true. Otherwise, the value has to be false. So then we can come right here for inside of this build method. We can check it right here. This variable is editing. If this is equal to true, do a question mark. That means the user is in editing mode. So the text will be edit card. Then just copy right here, and let's do the same thing for this bottom right here. So come right here, paste your code, and then the value will be update. So save now. Let's test everything. So go back. Let's reload it. So right here, when you go to edit, you will see now the label are changed. So in the next video, we'll see how we can improve this user experience even more. We'll use a circular progress indicator, so when the data is processing, so the user can see the data being processed. And we also will change right here the state of each input field, so the user cannot be able to submit this form while this card information is being processed. So for now, let's leave it as it is. So one more change I want to do right here. For each input field, we are applying the same input decoration. So let's extract this input decoration and then provide a label, an icon, and a hint text for each input field. This way we can flatten this widget right here. So click on it and then call the extract method. And then make this one private. Call this field decoration. Then let's go inside of this field decoration. Let's use the curly brackets right here. So we can create naming arguments. This will be string or nullable string. Call this label. And then we need an icon data. This is also nullable. Call this icon. Give it a comma and also another nullable string and call this hint. So now remove this constant keyword right here. So for the label, just assign right here the label. And then for the hint text, this will be also assigned to the int. And then for the icon, right here we need to check first if the icon is not null. So icon is different than null. We want to display the icon, so come right here, just call the icon. Otherwise, the icon will be null. So now we need to copy this code right here and replace it for each input to decoration. So come right here, just paste it here. For the label, this will be card holder. And then for the icon, we can use icons.person. And then for the hint text, let's say name on card. So now just copy, and let's do the same thing for the remaining options right here. So come here, just paste it, change right here to be card number, and then the icon will be credit card. And then for the hint text, you can see right here, let's define xxx space xxx space. And then select all this code right here and just delete it. So now just copy this property, come right here, paste it. This will be CSV code. And then for the icon, this will be security. And then for the hint text, this will be CSV code. So now select everything and just delete it. Copy again. Let's do the same thing right here. So for the text, this will be expiration date. Hint text, this will be 2 digits for the month, slash 2 digits for the year. And then for the icon, we can call right here this calendar underscore month. So then select it and delete everything. So now we need to also apply this one to this card type right here. So for the drop down menu, we can just call right here. So call the decoration again. Then call our method. Fill the decoration. The value right here will be null. Then do dot and then do copy with. So here we will provide the content padding, and this will be equal to a constant agility set dot symmetric, and the value will be horizontal. The value will be 12. So just select everything right here and just delete it. Add a comma right here. And here you can leave it as empty as it is. So save everything. So this is it for this video. As you can see, we flatten our input to decoration by extracting this method right here and providing the label, the icon, and the hint text. We also make this page dynamic, so now the user can register or edit the card using the same page. In the next video, let's learn how we can apply our logic right here. So we can prevent the user to resubmit this form while the data is processing, and also improve the user experience by showing a progress indicator while the data is being processed. And then finally, we'll show you after you edit this card, we'll go back to this page and update the card right here on this page. So this is it for this video. If you find this video useful, give a like and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. so you can get notification when new videos are coming out. This is it. See you on the next one.